I think season 3 we started to get a little bit of a check because, the first 2-3 seasons we weren't getting nothing, honey.
How much did you make your first season of Atlanta Housewives?
I think my first season of Housewives I made $10,000.
Total?
Total.
Wait a second. You filmed for 3 months on the first season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and you made $10,000?
$10,000. Now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I can go back and check because it sure knew 120, we did a reunion, and I think they gave us $5,000. We filmed that show, and we knocked it out the park, and we didn't get anything. Season 2, we didn't get anything. I want to say season 2, we got probably about maybe $50,000. Season 3, we moved to an attorney. All of us came together, got the same attorney. I think we got $100,000.
The saddest thing about that clip is how commonplace it is. Nene's story is the same thing that the average, everyday, regular black woman goes through at her own regular job every day. Now, I made a video yesterday about how representation matters in relation to the story coming out about Young Miami and her son, her 10-year-old son, throwing money at the strippers and her getting on the internet and arguing and blasting people back and forth for having an opinion about it. And what I said in that video is educated black women, well-to-do black women, so forth and so on. Basically, positive representation of black women is little to none, is non-existent in the media. However, if you can twerk and make your butt cheeks clap and you have no concept of subject-verb agreement, every other word is profanity, you're loud, ghetto, undesirable, tattooed up from your head to your toe, and all you talk about is sex and weave and drugs and so forth and so on, that's placed on a pedestal. It's pushed to the forefront. And we, meaning y'all, the black community in general, or black women in general, it's amazing to me how representation like that is supported. But somebody who's intelligent or well-spoken or could actually provide better representation for black women, we do nothing for. Nene's situation in particular is a result of the idea that we are worth less, if not completely worthless. And thus, we should be happy just to be chosen, just happy to just be in the room. When that type of mentality continues to be ingrained in us generation after generation, we are going to receive more of the same. When Nene finally came out and was fully complaining about Bravo to the point that her reputation and her working with them it's never going to happen again. It was completely destroyed. And she was talking about the racism and the pay disparity and whatever. It was so many black people that got online and was like, well, why are you just not bringing it up now? Why didn't you say anything before? Why did you accept this before? And this is why. It's because that's what we were taught to do, right? However, another thing that we did was let Bravo put out the narrative of her, she was just being a diva, and we went right along with it. Nene's full of herself, she's too much, and so forth and so on. As if, do you really think that that other community, the Karen community, isn't more entitled? The entirety of their lives, they've been entitled and privileged. You don't think they have just as much demands and attitude and so forth and so on as the black women, like Nene, like Mariah Huck, and the list goes on, that you all use to build a platform or a brand or your own career. Which brings me to the real thing that I want to talk about, which is Monique. The way that so many people were, Nene, get over it and so forth and so on. I did the same thing to Monique over a decade ago. Monique was talking about how the black gatekeepers blackballed her for not wanting to continue to promote a movie for free, after she had only been paid $50,000 for a blockbuster movie as a favor to a friend. That same friend, who was also a black person, got put on, and his career went up and up and up after that. And the first thing that he did when he finally got recognized and in front of a camera was spent his first few interviews dragging Monique. And the number of black people who went along with that online was disgusting. Then next came the Netflix situation and her talking about how she was paid less or offered less for a special, even though she had 3, 4, 8 times the career that a white woman had who wasn't even funny. and black people will shut up, Monique. That's not how it works. As if you all are in the industry. She's been in this industry for 20 years, and you, who work at a call center, are trying to tell her how contract negotiations work. Sick, sad, and stupid. But this is what we do. We tear each other down. Now look at over a decade later, how many people are finally coming out and admitting how little that they work and going, how little they get paid rather, and they're going on strike and so forth and so on. Bottom line is, we need better representation for black women. We need to help each other more. We need to hold the door open. As soon as we get on, we need to pull another one of us up. As soon as we learn something, we need to teach the rest, and we need to work as a collective. And after I have said all of that, you will still put somebody like Carisha, who cannot even form sentences properly, will always get more clout and more shine and push to the front before somebody like me or an Evelyn of the internet and so forth and so on. There's YouTubers that did excellent work for 15 years before they got any real pay and any real shine. But if they were being ratchet and only discussing Zeus Network type of content and stories, they would have been put on. Now, after I've said all of that, and we're in the information age to where we know how technology works, we understand how an algorithm works, and you have to have followers, likes, views, shares, subscribers, so forth and so on. And mind you, all of that is free to do. Let's see if I will get any new support as somebody who is an advocate for being a truth teller and having better representation for black women. Let's see if I will get followed for free. A video will be shared for free, a comment or a like for free. Because until I get at the bare minimum 10,000 followers on the different platforms and so forth and so on, there are no brand deals, there are no this, that, and the third. And you will still continue to complain that there is no reflection of you. There's no dark-skinned black women. There's no black women with natural hair. There's no black women that actually have curves and so forth and so on that's being pushed to the front. If you want to stop things like this from happening, it starts with your very own actions and what you support.